No, I think it's the only option when you grow up in a rural sort of community is you've got to have an attitude to work. And I can remember from early years, just with my dad. I mean, we lived in an old wool shed. We lived in a converted wool shed. But like my early memories of like having my dad literally just be a post or a pillar to get the sheep in, to shear the sheep or to dock the sheep, whatever we had to do. And I kind of loved it, and I've always had a love for chopping wood, I suppose, from that. But I think just the attitude to work and having a good attitude to work is born probably from living in a rural sort of environment. I'm Dylan Hartley, former England rugby captain, through Dark ambassador. This is
It's in my eyes. It's in my eyes.
In the sink. Good boy, yeah. That's the one.
It's a good question. Who do I want to be known as? I think I'm always in search of that, a little bit like I'm always in search of adventure or doing new things and trying to create new experiences and memories and all that sort of stuff. But I think, you can't dismiss the last 20 years of your life and how it's impacted who I am today. I had a pretty turbulent career, ups and downs, swings and roundabouts, and it kind of forged and formed the person that I am today. So I'm kind of thankful for that career I had. Whereas now I'm in search of that new sort of journey or adventure. So the thing with professional sport is there is a finite timeline to it, You essentially die at 35 years old and you've got to start again. And I think the most exciting thing for me is that at 35 you're still a young man and there's plenty of time to go do other stuff, and that's what I'm most looking forward to. In terms of what motivated me early on in my career, I wanted to be a professional sportsman. I wanted to play in all the best stadiums around the world. I wanted to challenge myself against these guys I've grown up idolizing. But then you get to a point where you're doing that and it becomes the norm. Your motivation changes. Then later on in my career, you have a family and you want to leave a legacy, and it becomes career-based as well. It becomes financial. There's all these implications. And I think the overriding thing for me when I got into the twilight of my career was understanding that it was finite and I had a short window to make the most out of this opportunity presented to me. Legacy is important to me in regard, again, it's subjective. It's important to me what my kids think, what my parents think, what my wife and my friends and family think. The wider sort of public, I can't really control that. They can think whatever, it's out of my control. But legacy to my kids especially, I hope that one day that they can look at what I did and be inspired. What is next and what is important to me is that I need to reset, recalibrate and refocus. And I think what got the best out of me in my rugby career was when I was focused and I was chasing something. I had something aspirational to go for. And I think I'm not scared to say that I want to be successful in another area of life, With my family, I want that to be boxed off and happy, but in terms of business and finances, I want to chase that down. I want to get after something there. Life experiences, whilst I loved playing professional sport and the opportunities it afforded me to work, travel and to make new friends, it's very insular in that respect as well. You're in a bit of a bubble, your whole sort of career. So, I want to get out in the world and go see things and tick things off and experience things and places. So, I want to get after something. You've got to get out of bed every day, you've got to go to work, and I think a busy a busy me is a good me. You know, I'm a good dad. I'm a good husband when I'm busy. You know, if I'm idle, I get frustrated. I need to be busy. I need to be working. I need to be working. I need to be doing firewood. You know, we all need to work. You need to get up and hustle. You know, I still haven't found that thing that gave me that sort of drive that I had when I was a young rugby player, trying to make it. I'm still looking for that thing. I've only been retired a couple of years and we've been through a pandemic, but I think I know what that thing looks like and feels like and smells like. It's that challenge, that thing that gets you out of bed in the morning and you get excited to go into work and to prove yourself, you know, and to essentially work and apply yourself. So I'm looking for that thing, and whether that's in potentially in the business world for me to go be successful there. You know, I'm the master of my own schedule and destiny now, so to be able to travel by myself and with my family and to experience new things, I think that's a massive sort of agenda for me, is to go create good experiences, but equally just finding that one thing personally, you know, the odd kind of expedition once a year just to tick things off, to make sure I'm active and training towards something and excited about, you know, doing something. I think it's important to have those things for yourself as well. For me, captaincy and being the example was front of mind, and you almost become an actor in that way, and the way that you're talking about seeing yourself in the third person. What would the best captain do, or the best professional do, or the best operator do? I always put that foot forward. So every time I walked into a room, you know, I'm not saying I'd be tucked in, but you know, your shoulders would be back, you wouldn't be cold, you wouldn't be hungry, you wouldn't be tired, because if you're hungry, cold and tired, the rest of the room's hungry, cold and tired. So even though I think it's the hardest thing about leadership is when you're feeling those things, you acknowledge those, but you can't, I mean, all environments are different, but my school was, you can't show those things because it was infectious, you know? So you'd walk into the room positive, you know, shoulders back, head up, you know, you're not hungry, you're not tired, you're energetic. So the link of, you know, the draw or the connection with Through Dark and myself originally was through people. I met Staz and Louis myself, and I think that was the interest from the offer. It wasn't about the brand or me, it was about meeting the guys and buying into who they were, and then off the back of it, they made some pretty good gear. And yeah, I think it continues to be that for me as well. It's a privilege to be an ambassador for such a quality sort of company, but I think for me it's a social connection and the opportunity to do things with Through Dark and experience new things with Through Dark. That is the biggest draw for me. Again, looking at sport and, you know, the military, there's so many crossovers there, and you know, I tread lightly around the subject, but every weekend on a Saturday afternoon we talked about going to war on a rugby field and putting your body on the line for your brothers. And I know in the military you quite literally do that, so I tread lightly around that. But in terms of preparation, physical training, mental application, there's a massive sort of crossover there. So I think when it comes back to people, dealing with the team at Through Dark, we have just so much in common. So it's been an absolute kind of breeze and pleasure to work with them.